world where there are no holy men and all the people are trash, she would say. During that time, there were many attempts of her life according to various stories. But the most relevant one is that there was an attempt to poison him. If Rana is angry, he can keep his kingdom. But if God is offended, I will wither, she declared. With Krishna as her life and soul, she was able to overcome many hardships in her life. She would sing and dance to his praises, and through him, she would also be her own person. She became an outcast from her princess. She threw off the weight of expectations and the shackles of the society. She went down as who she truly was, instead of becoming just a mere Padmavati. Passion, devotion, flaw, and strength, all woven together in this one single woman, in this one strong woman, till date remembered as Meerabai Meera. Thank you.
Now, let's welcome the second speaker of the day. The second speaker is Prachi, and the evaluator is Ruby. Now, let me introduce her. She is an amazing artist, a good singer. She is the smartest and the most kind-hearted. Her topic is the power of forgiveness. Please welcome Prachi to the stage.
Good evening, honorable presenters. In his poem Quality of Mercy, William Shakespeare says, and I quote, "It is twice blessed, it blesseth him that gives and him that takes." The third monarch, much better than his tongue. His stature shows the force of temporal power, the attribute of honor and majesty, wherein dodges the dread and fear of kings. But mercy is above the stature of king, is enthroned in the heart of kings. It is an attribute of God Himself. The poet says that mercy is double blessed. It blesses the person who shows mercy, and the taker automatically blessed, as he is believed to pay and receive. Mercy is the most powerful and the mightiest. Often we hold on to anger and resentment because people knowingly or unknowingly hurt us. Maybe by our friends, family, and sometimes even strangers, we are wrong. But hating them does not affect them in any way. What it does is eat us completely from inside. That bitterness just keeps piling up. It clouds our decision-making ability and conscience. It clouds out our positive feelings, and we are swallowed in our own bitterness. But we may not realize that hating someone is just a blanket to cover our own pain. Therefore, in order to let ourselves free of that pain, we need to forgive, to let it go. There's one such story about forgiveness in Mahabharata. It was when Ashwatthama killed the Upapandavas on Duryodhana's order. Sri Krishna and Arjuna come to a devastated Draupadi who had just lost all of her sons. Seeing her in such a state, they offer to bring Ashwatthama to her for her to decide his punishment. Soon, Ashwatthama was brought in front of her, who held his head down with shakes. Now, we can think that she might have punished him in the worst way possible. But no, what she does is forgive him. She did not allow her anger to cloud her decision. She explains why she did so. She says, Marodidasya janani Gautami Pati Devata Yathaham Mritavatsartha Rodimyashramukhi Mumuhu. He says that if Ashwatthama dies, then his mother Rupi will suffer great pain and devastation. She will go through the same loss as I have. She doesn't deserve such agony and torment. We shouldn't be the woman who has to go through the pain of losing a son like I am. So, I wish for Ashwatthama to live and for his peace. Like this, Draupadi shows empathy and forgives her children's murder. What we can learn from her is that no matter what, we should forgive or at least try to, because it doesn't destroy us. Here's my personal experience. When my mother told that I had to change my school, I was so sudden because I had to leave behind my old life, which was like almost perfect. The grades, great friends and all. And then I started to go to this new school and I was in my own world of anger. I didn't try to make any friends or even study. I thought I was mad at my mother, but actually I was miserable. And so I kept ruining my days at this new school until one day I snapped out. I realized how much that anger had hurt me back. I realized I needed to let go of that anger and move on. And here I am today, in that school, giving the speech about forgiveness. So, whenever you're offended, try to remember every time you misbehave and you will forgive it. Focus on the positive outcomes that the offense brought to your life. Focus on the positive results of freeing yourself of that pain and torment. Anger makes you smaller, while forgiving forces you to grow beyond that you do. Forgiveness can't change the future, but it sure can change the future. Forgiveness can't change the past, but it sure can change the future.
Now, stand well with the third speaker of the day. The third speaker is Meera, and her evaluator is Witchcraft. Now, let me introduce her. She is a program, a good dancer, and a good writer. Her topic is Witchcraft and its history. Please welcome Anaga Kalari to the stage.
Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, and yes. When we hear the word witchcraft, we immediately get into a negative headspace about it and think about demonic practices or dark-hearted people worshipping their dark god. While the history of witchcraft definitely proves to be the reason why people think of it like that by default, if we look closely at what happened, it's not as bad as we think. You can't speak for a whole world and you have to give one perspective. So in European and Roman cultures, especially Rome, witches were known to be as night owls or strix as they called it. They thought that these women could assume the human form, and when nightfall came, they could shift back into their actual form and fly away to hunt for silver. A common activity all witches were assumed to have participated in was eating children or having orgies with the devil. This was common in European history as well, that these women performed black magic, ate children, and sold their bodies to the devil. But we must notice that this rumor was spread because of a number of women deciding to live outside the norms of being meek and subservient towards their husbands or a certain lord. While a witch was a woman with magical abilities helping her hero and weak imagination, she was a negative model against the proper persona of a woman in Roman history. This genuine scare led people to massacre these groups of women. The term witch trials emerged from these events. In Christian history slash mythology, very similar events took place. They thought that these women were heathens who questioned their Lord's rule and went against the saying of the Bible because they worshipped a goddess instead of a god, which was absolutely against the saying of the Bible. The goddess they worshipped was known as the triple goddess, who had the three forms of the maiden, the mother, and the queen. The very same goddess was Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft, necromancy, and the night. She was one of the most powerful people in Greek mythology, who stood as the guardian at the underworld and ironically stood there to ward away evil spirits. After the merging of fields from different cultures, the Romans simply posed a very cheesy myth against what witchcraft or modern witches are actually like. In modern day, there are two beliefs in witchcraft, which are paganism and Satanism, both of which are rebellious beliefs against Christianity. While paganism is worshipping Hecate and the cycles of nature throughout the year, Satanism is not worshipping Satan, instead having him as a symbol of rebellion and individuality. As a whole, witchcraft is to connect with the spirits of the earth or connection to divine beings in general. It's a form of spirituality on its own. There can be many sorts of modern witches. but all of them have a connection to nature in common. So some might feel most at home near the ocean or some near the forest. Some might feel mostly connected with the stars. The full moon days, new moon days, and specific days like Halloween are very important for modern day witchcraft because these people believe that the veil between different dimensions are witnessed on those specific days. Many people nowadays turn to this practice to heal themselves or understand themselves or understand the unknown forces in the world right now. While this might be a very transformational and transcendent experience for most people, it might cause a lot of stress on the brain as well. It might cause a lot of disorders if you started hearing voices suddenly, or ruin your life for the worst if you took the practice very lightly. Witchcraft or magic in actuality is a very beautiful and powerful practice which leads us to understand the irrational parts of the human subconscious and soul, just as it leads us to understand the irrational connections we have with the universe. But we must also not forget that its dark side is to achieve a sort of mental disorder or ruining your life for the worse. But with the right guidance and the right knowledge, we might just end up discovering a whole new perspective for our world where magic exists. Thank
Thank you, Raga, for the wonderful speech. Now, let's welcome the third speaker, the final speaker of the day. The speaker is Meera and his graduated is Sudarshan. Now, let me introduce him. He is a pocket dynamite and is the most brilliant and most intelligent student. His topic is the story of the civilian commando. Please welcome Chinmaya Adigar.
Good afternoon to one and all present and the MC. Have you ever heard that a person can jog for 100 kilometers continuously without taking a break while carrying a load of 30 kilos? Have you ever heard that a person can jump from 20,000 feet into enemy territory? Yes, I'm talking about the commandos of the para special forces, the ones who are called as the master of the Indian Army, the ones who are famous for turning improbable possible, the ones who conduct operations sound stranger than fiction, the ones who believe in high performance, low visibility. Today, I am here to talk about one such officer of the Para Special Force, an additional commissioner in the Indian Revenue Service named Pradeep Shaurya Arya, got bored of living a lavish yet luxurious life. Therefore, he decided to join the Indian Army. He was successful in completing the 3-month-long dreaded probation of the Para Special Forces. He would serve 10 months in Mumbai and 2 months in Kashmir. One day, on the 2nd May 2017, when he was busy gazing files on terror financing and money laundering, he received a call from his commanding officer from Kashmir. He told him to report urgently. He knew that it was something very important. He caught the first flight from Mumbai and reached Kashmir. In a few hours, he had reached the most dangerous place on the planet from posh locality to Mumbai. After reaching his base, the CEO or commanding officer briefed him that two terrorists of the Lashkar-e-Toiba are planning to infiltrate into the Indian soil and take innocent lives. He was made the head of the counter-terrorism operation. Over the next few days, extensive intelligence was collected on the movement of terrorists. On the 10th May 2017, the collected intel was gathered, reviewed, and an operation was planned. It was evident that the terrorists would be launched from a designated post in Pakistan, cross the line of control, and then strike hard in the Indian soil. On the 15th May 2017, Pradeep Shaurya Arya received a call from a number from Pakistan. It was his trusted agent. He told him that the terrorists were planning to infiltrate into the Indian soil on the 29th of May. By the 28th of May 2017, all the three squads of the Para Special Force zeroed in near the location of the line of control. Each squad included 6 soldiers with 6 lethal weapons. They had done grand preparations to welcome the incoming guests. At around 10:50, Pradeep Shauri Arya was able to see 6 men having their rifles walking towards the LOC. It was evident that those are the terrorists. He told his men or his buddies to maintain mum until the terrorists infiltrated to the Indian soil. Once they reach the Indian soil, explosives which were planted or laid on the way will detonate. One terrorist died then and there itself. Another terrorist, thinking that the first terrorist was alive, came to save him. That terrorist was also shot by Major Pradeep Chaudhary. The fourth and fifth terrorists were also shot by the brave hearts of the Indian Army. And as in 2 minutes, all the six terrorists were neutralized. Pradeep Shaurya Arya received the third highest peacetime gallantry award, that is the Shaurya Chakra, for his valor, bravery, and courage. At last, I would like to end my speech with a quote. A true soldier fights not because what he hates is in front of him, but because he loves what is behind him.
Was mindful speech. Now it's time to start the second part of the session. It's the most curious, most interesting, and most amazing part of the session. To organize this impromptu session, let's welcome our dear friend, tabla artist, chess champion Sudarshan Pandita to the stage.
Hello everyone. So today I'll be conducting the impromptu session. So I'll just tell what an impromptu session is. Impromptu session is a session where my friends won't know what the topic that I'll be giving and they'll have to speak on it. So the time controls for the impromptu session are 1 minute, which is the green card, 1.5 minutes, which is the yellow card, and 2 minutes, by which which is the orange card, by which my friends will have to complete their speeches. So let's go to the first topic. The first topic is an important lesson which I learned after a mistake. So I'm just picking randomly. So I'd like to call Marut's topic. So
So in my childhood, when I was in sixth, so I was a very curious child. There were many curious acts like once if I see any flat surfaces or any corridors or any boards, I was just banging in my hands. From which my mother thought I was very interested in Mridangam and she joined me to Mridangam. And there's another incident. I was very curious about many electronics and many plumbing things. From which once there was a repairman who came to our house, and until 4 hours, I was just watching him without even some doing any work. So like that, I was very curious, and once my curiousness went around where like in that time, in the age of 8, I think, I put my sister's Apple phone down from first floor on the 12th floor, from which it was a very big mistake. So I said that it is good to have seriousness in good things rather than bad.
thank you, Marut. The second topic is ban smoking in all public places. These are all my opinions. So I would like to call Meera. And please, whenever the speaker is coming on the stage, please give them a round of applause.
As you all know, smoking is not good for health and can cause cancers and heart attacks nowadays. Nowadays, youngsters think that smoking is an encouragement for everyone and they try to make it a habit. But that which is not a good thing right now. Smoking not only causes health problems to people who smoke, it also causes health problems to people who are around them while they are smoking. So tobacco products not good for our environment, which contains some chemicals which contaminate our waterways um, which is and which can affect our wildlife, the nature and the wildlife. So basically, smoking is not a good thing, and all of them should stop it or they should ban smoking, uh, which can cause many problems. I would suppose I'm agreeing that I would agree with Sudarshan, the topic that smoking should be banned in all public places, which can cause many problems.
Thank you, Meera, for this wonderful speech. The third topic is beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So I'd like to welcome Anna.
This topic reminds me of something Oscar Wilde says in his book A Picture of Dorian Gray. He says that even though an artist makes a piece of a work of art, it belongs to the entire world because asking an artist what his work means is possibly the worst thing you can do because the art reflects what the person is seeing. Because some people might see, like there are very famous illusion sort of pictures where one person might see an old man sitting under a tree while another sees a skull over there, or a rabbit can look like a duck if you watch it in a river, if you see it in a reverse way. So he says that the worst thing you can do is ask what ask the artist what it means because the most important thing is uh, what the beholder is saying, which is right because many people, none of the people are not think the same way. Everyone is different. Everyone has their own individual preferences or interests or things, or the way they think in itself is different than the other person. Now, the most mundane things can look like mundane. But if we look deeper into it might be the most beautiful thing, or it might be very beautiful. Like we can take the speakers today itself. We can see Aparna's unrivaled passion for fighting for women's rights and her interest in strong women. And we can see how less Prachi speaks of forgiveness, but how deeply she felt the change it brought into her. And we can see it in Chinmaya's face, his enthusiasm, his passion for Yagu. And we all have grumbled about coming to school. I know that. So there might not, I mean, we might not like coming to school, but when we see our friends and when we see what goes, or when we try to understand the depth and what in their minds, it's all very beautiful. So it's just a matter of the beholder. It's not the matter of you.
Thank you, Anna. Now, the next topic is my favorite day of the year, and I would like to call Vishnu.
Twenty-third of May, 2020. I will tell the story why I like this day because when I was in fifth standard, I wanted a cycle. When I saw anyone riding the road, I was feeling very jealous. So I wanted a cycle very much. I asked my father to buy me a cycle, but he told that uh, he told that he would buy me a cycle when I'm in ninth standard. So I wanted the cycle, so I was trying, and he told that Okay, I'm giving challenge. If you complete that, if you complete that, I would buy you cycle. So the challenge was not so easy. The challenge was that I have to learn 18 adhyayams of Bhagavad Gita and proceed in front of Vedamshi. But I could not do that. So I came out with a plan that I have to collect money when whenever I brought money from my relatives in festival, anywhere I would collect that. After 4 years, when I was in ninth standard, I had totally collected 20,000 rupees. So May 23rd, 2020, I went to a cycle shop and bought a new gear cycle, 27 Firefox Cyclone 27.5.
Thank you, Vishnu. The next topic is keyboard will be replaced by speech to text technology in the next within the next 10 years. So the topic goes to Urvi.
Good afternoon, one and all. It's been almost 1.5 years since I've been learning the piano. I started learning keyboard at the age of 6, and then I learned it in second grade, and I again took a break. So I'm not that, I don't know much about keyboard or piano, but I feel um, everything, like suppose now all of us read books, but at the same time many of us read books online. We read PDFs, we read on Kindle and different apps like that. But there is always something special about books. There is always something special about natural things. But at the same time, we have to accept that technology will be taking over, and it has already taken over. But in the next 10 years, people, maybe the next generation might not see books at all, might not see anything natural, might only be in front of computers 24/7. But that is what we all have to accept. So at the same time, I feel the keyboard can be replaced with any other technology, and at the same time, people will accept it and make it better. Thank you.
Thank you, Urvi. Yeah, so thank you, Urvi. The next topic is parents are the most influential factors in our lives, and the topic goes to Prachi.
Parents, they are the reason we are in this world, right? So obviously that makes them the most important part of the life. They say that parents are our first teachers, and our house is our first school. So everything we have learned in today, other than school, we have learned from our parents. We watch them every day. We notice their mistakes, how they handle a situation, how they react to something. They are, we grow by watching them. At one of the other point of our time of our life, we we would have wished to be like them when we grow up. So that's what makes them the most important part of our.
The next topic is reading fiction is a waste of time. I know I will get really bad at this topic, but I like to keep these kind of topics. So the topic goes to Chinmay.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have been invited by Sudarshan to speak this very controversial topic, and I enjoy myself speaking controversial topics and create some controversy out there. So let me tell you that basically books are of two types, that is fiction and non-fiction. So first of all, let us analyze why do people read books. It is for their enjoyment, their hobby, that's all fine. But what do we get reading books? Enhances our language and also our knowledge. If you are reading a fiction book, people may think bad about it, but still I would like to express my personal opinion. Fiction book contains the writer's creativity. Whatever he writes, it is good. It is fiction. Whatever he writes may be true, but it is very, very illogical. It's not at all logical. And what do we require in the world? Logic. Logic is what we use 24 by 7. We may not use maths, may not use science, but logic we use it every time. And we can also learn from the writer's experiences. A wise man has once said that I would like to recall a quote because this quote fits perfectly for this situation. He is a wise man who learns from others' experiences. He is not as wise who waits to learn from his own experience. And he is a fool who neither learns from his own experience nor from others' experience. So by reading non-fiction books, everyone can become a wise man. Everyone has the opportunity to learn from experience. Experience is directly proportional to time. All the time you have spent in earth. If you are older, you will have more experience. But by reading books, you can gather experience then and there itself. So I believe that fiction books are way, non-fiction books are way better than fiction books. Thank you.
Thank you, Chinmay, for supporting this topic. The next topic is how can you improve your public speaking skills? And to speak about this topic, I would like to call Aparna.
Well, Sudarshan, if you had asked me to do this around 1.5 years ago, I would literally read everything. But I've been attending young leadership program classes, and I think I've gained a fair amount of confidence even to impromptu speaking sessions like this. Uh, YMB classes have basically been about public speaking and how to improve our speaking skills. And today I would like to put forward some of them with you. So I think the key to speaking or public speaking is confidence. And the way to get confidence is just to go do it. There's no other way. Just overcome your fear and just go do it. And once you're done with it, you'll gain the confidence that you'll do better next time, and that will improve in each and every step. Some of the other keys to public speaking is to grab the audience's attention and to end with a beautiful impact or something for the audience to think. So basically, confidence, a good start and a good ending, and just you enjoy speaking. That is one of the other keys to public speaking. So all of these together, you'll make a good speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Aparna. So the next topic is real wealth is not measured in money or possessions. And I would like to call something else.
My topic is real wealth is not measured by money and money can buy you a super bike and a super car, but not skills to drive it. Imagine if a man were never used to smartphone in its entirety, mention lottery and paisa and doesn't even know how to operate. Like this, money can buy you like this, money can buy you a bed, but not sleep. Money can buy you a clock, but not time. So, what it is, real wealth is your education and your loyalty. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay. So now we are arriving to the final topic of this session, which is it is better to be influential than rich. And I would like to call for
I am going to talk on it's better to be influential, not rich. So I would like to share this topic like comparing with an example. So we know the Gandhian era movement. So before India got independence, or the Gandhian era movement before, we did not have unity between us to have the independence. But after Gandhian era movement, Gandhi started Satyagraha and more stuff like this. So this was one of the main unity for us to have the movement. So Gandhi was a influencer. So like that, also at the British time, we had Vande Mataram, which got us more united. That was also influenced by an influencer. So I would like to tell that influencers are way better. There's a great saying in English: if you kiss money, it will kick you. If you kick money, it will kiss you. So it depends on what you choose. If you want to have money, it depends. If you're going to kiss it, make sure that it does not kick you back. Thank you.
Thank you, Pranav. So this is the way from the informal session. I'd like to thank all my friends and all viewers.
Thank you, Sudarshan, for organizing the session today. Now, let's see the valuations for the speeches. So I invite Vivek to evaluate our speech.
First speaker today was I'm not used to it. First speaker today was Aparna, and she spoke about a different kind of courage. Aparna, I looked at your speech, and it was a great start. I saw a lot of energy there. You were more eager to go and start the speech, which is very good. So it shows the confidence you had yourself in preparation. You started off with some very interesting questions. What is courage and bravery? And you try to compare that with soldiers that usually we associate courage with. And you flipped the question to saying that this is a she. And that created a lot of curiosity in the audience mind, saying what you're talking about. And that hooked the audience to your speech. So that was a very nice technique to use to hook the audience attention by creating that suspense, a little questioning, and then taking them along, tell the story of the brave lady of Meera. I think it was a very nice narration. You told the story of Meera, what all went through her life, the ups and downs. Very nice narration. Your pace was very well controlled. You slowed down areas where you're supposed to do that. The message is very clear that you have to do what you want to do, irrespective of what is going around surroundings. Now coming to the areas of your improvement, what I felt was you could have paused where there were areas of her life is changing. For example, she lost her husband, right? It's a very sad situation in the lady's life, right? So I wanted you to pause for a moment so that the audience absorbs that, right? And then she lost the connection from her family, right? I think she was abandoned or something like that, right? So those are the areas where you should pause. You should take a pause so that the audience is aware of what's happening in the protagonist's life, the story, the person's life. They were very nice usage, singing praise, authoritarian shackles of family life, right? Attempts on her life. I will weather
became an outcast from a princess. A very nice usage. So that is shifting the focus, right? Devotion, flaws, and strength. A very nice English usage, which you all throughout the course I've seen you displayed the very good command of the language, which I really appreciate. Overall, I think it was a very strong story, very well narrated, and I wish you all the best for your next opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Reverend. Now, I request Meera to come to the stage and only come to the stage and graduate classmates.
Today, Prachi spoke on the topic, the power of forgiveness. Prachi, the topic itself is extremely positive, and it is you often choose topics which are very positive and give the audience a lot of very good feeling. You started off with a quote from Shakespeare's Quality of Mercy, and you had quoted it very well. And Prachi, I have observed that you have very good grammar usage, and your speeches are forever inspiring. Also, you had taken an example from the Mahabharata and you spoke of Draupadi and how she has the power of forgiveness, which is also very positive and it gives people a very inspiring look on it. And at the same time, you quoted a Sanskrit shloka from the Mahabharata and you also explained it so that it's easier for the audience to understand. Then you took another example from your personal life and people could really relate to what you speak. At the same time, I think you can add a little more expression to your face while speaking. And the last time I evaluated you, you didn't use a lot of gestures, but this time you actually improved a lot, only on that note. But your face is a little less expressive. Other than that, yeah, as I explained, you show a lot of gestures while speaking, and that's improved a lot. Your language is extremely expressive, and you also have a very positive outlook on life, and it's really evident in your speeches. That's it. You had an amazing speech.
Thank you. Now, I request Meera to the stage and graduate.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'm valuing this speech. She began the speech pretty well with a good intro about the witchcraft. Yes, we do get into the negative headspace when we hear the word witchcraft. I think we gave a perfect start to the speech by telling us how people think about witchcraft. So, you want to know about how witchcraft works and what they would know and how they were related to European culture. And we got to know about which tribes emerged. I thought you were a little bit fast about the time, and it was a perfect way for us to get to talk about the witchcraft. We could hear your voice clearly. The voice was present and friendly with the audience. I felt that you were very well prepared and you were confident in the speech. Your words were appropriate and clear to the audience. You spoke very fluently with simple words for us to understand. Your eye contact was also good with everyone. And it was a wonderful speech and was very interesting for us. We'd love to know more about the witchcraft again sometime.
Thank you, Meera. Now, I invite Sudarshan to come to to the stage and graduate children.
Hello everyone. So today I will be evaluating speech. It was a fantastic speech by and as Vishnu told, he is a pocket dialect, so you can't expect anything from him, and he always gives these kind of very beautiful explosions. In his speech, we could all see his expressions and his love for the country and the para-special forces. We also got to know that he knows the toughness which the para-special forces undergo. And we got to know a lot about Captain Pradeep Shaurya, who is now a major. And unsurprisingly, Pradeep Shaurya also received Shaurya Chakra as Chakra mentioned, which is the third highest peacetime guarantee award in India. It was very hard to find flaws in Chinmaya's speech, and because it's just pretty obvious that he's well prepared and speaks very well. But there's just one feedback, which is that I felt that he was a little nervous, as he had some kind of stress on his face that he was always like this. If anybody observed that he was always like this, his whole speech. So, which and he had the same expression throughout the speech. So I feel that there is one place where he could improve. And as a person in the audience, I was very happy to hear such a speech where luxurious a man who has been living a luxurious life is ready to give up his life just for the sake of the country and for the sake of the people of the country. So it was a wonderful speech of such an inspiring revenue from army officer. So thank you, Chinmay, and let's have a round of applause for Chinmay.
Thank you, Sudarshan. Now it's time to see the reports of Gurmere article and time. So first I would like to welcome Gurmere to the reports.
So it was a treat for me listening and making notes of such high quality English. So some of the notes that I've made, I've already mentioned what Aparna used in my evaluation. So let's look at what Prachi did. She quoted the Shakespeare with a very nice way of doing it. Another good usage was "we are wrong," bitterness keeps piling up. Right? Just someone is just blanket cover of pain. She quoted Mahabharata and also a Sanskrit shloka, which was very nice. One wrong usage which I noted in Prachi was she said "I am." It should have been "I did." That should have been a correction. Anger makes you smaller. Forgiveness makes you go bigger. A very nice usage. Very good. Coming to Anaga's speech was full of very good usages. I could not take note of some of them. The beginning which she said negative headspace, black magic, war, evil spirits, paganism and Satanism, Halloween, some of the usage which I could make note. Very well done. Chinmay, your story was filled with a lot of valor and adrenaline. I could see the passion which you were speaking. I could take note of some good usage. One was the Brahmastra of Indian Army. Very nice usage to describe the special forces. Posh locality, Mumbai, infiltrate, counter-terrorism, intel, trusted agent, neutralized. A true soldier is brave because of what is in front of him, but what is behind him. I think that was a very nice phrase usage. Sudarshan, in his evaluation, he said beautiful explosions. That was a nice usage of English. Beautiful explosions. Okay, this was very good. In the impromptu sessions, I saw some good usage. Mitra said not Mitra. Marut said, "Curious child with curious acts." Right, that was a good usage. I didn't understand why Mitra said smoking affects wildlife. I didn't hear how come wildlife gets affected by smoking. That was I didn't understand that. Anika said, use beauty in the eye of the beholder. She quoted Oscar Wilde, a piece of art that belongs to the world. In fact, Running Day was one of my favorites when I was in school. So, Monday things look beautiful. That was a very nice usage. Prachi in her speech said, they are the reason we exist. She was referring to the parents. Nice. Parents are our first teacher and our home is the first school. Very good use again. Chinmaya in his impromptu speech said, he's a wise man who learns from others' experience. That was good use again. Aparna in her impromptu speech said, used the word trembling, which was very nice. And the one she said was just go do it, which was very nice. In fact, that's the tagline for Nike. If you remember, Nike shoes, right? It's just go do it, just do it. Right? Real wealth is measured by, I don't know who said that. It is better to be influential, and in that, I think it was you, right? You said kiss money and it will kick you back, right? So that was very, very nice usage. These are some of the uses of English which I could take note. And thank you, and back to you.
Thank you. Now I request our I don't know the stage and tell you.
As I promised at the very end of the session, I will done the R's and the H words. So here I go. Starting with the prepared speech, Aparna had one R and no clutch word. And evaluator Vivekananda had two as a clutch word and no R. Prachi, then second speaker, Prachi, she had two R's and zero clutch words. And evaluator Urvi had three R's. Then comes to Ananda, she had two R's and zero clutch words. And evaluator Mitra had 14 R's and zero clutch words. The last speaker was Chinmaya, he had one R and no clutch words. And evaluator for Chinmaya was Sudarshan, he had 12 R's. And then comes the impromptu speech. It started with Marut and he had 18 R's and zero clutch words. Mitra had 11 R's and zero clutch words. Another had 6 R's and show as a clutch word. So it was two times. Vishnu had 5 R's and zero clutch words. Urvi had 5 R's, zero clutch words. Raji had 5 R's and zero clutch words. Chinmaya had one zero clutch word. Aparna had one Somebody had 2 R's in the speech, zero clutch words. And myself, Vishnu did it for me, and I had 0 R's. So the comedian had 6 R's at the very end. Thank you.
I guess going to so in the starting speech, so in the starting speech, Vishnu presented there was 2 minutes 15 seconds, and the debate speeches Aparna used 4 minutes 2 seconds, and Raji 4 minutes 45 seconds, and Ananda 4 minutes 56 seconds, and Chinmaya Ariga 4 minutes 3 seconds. In impromptu speaking, there were so in that I used 1 minute 21 seconds, and Mitra 1 minute 28 seconds, and Ananda 2 minutes 35 seconds, and Vishnu 1 minute 40 seconds, Tulsi 1 minute 38 seconds, and Raji 1 minute 16 seconds, and Chinmaya Ariga 1 minute 46 seconds, and then Aparna 1 minute 14 seconds, and Samvit 40 seconds, and Nava 1 minute 7 seconds. And then evaluation. So we within 2 minutes 50 seconds, and could be 4 minutes 8 seconds, and with a turnout of 1 minute 26 seconds, and extension of 2 minutes 4 seconds, and then the remaining will be turnout. So it took 3 minutes 47 seconds. And after that, turnout 1 minute 15 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you, Varun. Now I would like to hand over the session to Vivekanand.
So this brings to the conclusion of the session today, and this was the final session. And I would like to thank Srinivasan for providing me the opportunity to work with the wonderful students at Kudakamati. I would also want to thank Sulochana throughout the session. She was always there supporting me in these sessions. And Tejas Anna was there at the initial time when we started. I also want to talk about Raghuramana, who has supported me throughout the admissions and then also the beginning of the session. So I would like to invite Srinivasan. Please, you can come and hand over the certificates to the participants. I'll call. We're going by an alphabetical order. First is Anaka Kali. Can somebody take the picture? Photo. Chinmay. Thank you. Marun. I think we should keep Meera. Raji. Thank you. Can I invite other teachers, please? Please, the first. Pranav. Sudarshan. Can I invite Pushpa? Vatsal. Vishnu. So, somebody hand it over to Vatsal. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.